Arizona football is headed for a monster 2024 season, but before that, there needs to be some holes that need to be filled, and we're going to talk all about that and more on Locked On Wildcats.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. This show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Check it out. Be a better person for it. All right. Now, we're going to talk some 2024 Arizona football, my friends. Arizona football and what needs to happen for the Wildcats to really kind of make that jump forward and fill some of those holes that are out there. Now, there's been a few commitments that we will talk about. There's been a couple that are probably coming through. But first and foremost, need to talk about the players that we know for sure are moving on. Now, Jordan Morgan is moving on. Jordan Morgan is a stud. We all know that. Jordan Morgan will be a first-round pick. But you would think, well, we need to get another offensive tackle starter in there. I don't think that's the case, though. I think this is actually something fairly self-explanatory. I believe that you're going to put you're going to see in the bowl game, you're going to see Big Jonah Sabanea at left tackle, and you're going to see Raymond Polito at right tackle, and I think that's going to be your combination for next year. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Now, so then on the interior, you're saying, well, what's going to go on in the interior? You got Josh Baker. You've also Josh Baker, who's going to start. You've also got Wendell Moy. Then the other people that I think you start wondering about, all right, are they going to start? You got about 3 or 4 different candidates. All are good. Leif Magnuson, our guy Leif. Shout out Quinn Magnuson. Leif Magnuson is going to have every opportunity to start. But then also you're going to have some other guys, an Elijah Payne, a Tylen Gonzalez, along with those guys, a big Rhino. Now, all 3 of those guys fit very much into the Jedd Fisch model of if you're going to miss with a player or if you're going to recruit a player, guess what? We're going to recruit big. And that is exactly what they have done. And that's exactly what Jedd Fisch has done, a fisher of big men or of big football players. But that's kind of where it's at with all of those dudes. Now, I think the next question that you probably have is which one of those guys could be a starter? All of them. They're all different. Tylen Gonzalez, remember, out of the football metropolis of Carlsbad, New Mexico. Tylen Gonzalez is a monster. Arizona got on him early, and not only did they get on him early, it was the right move to get on him early because, again, he is a beast. At about 6'8", 325, 330 pounds, he is a monster. And he moves really well. He carries the weight well. That's kind of where it's at with Tylen Gonzalez. Then Elijah Payne, kid out of Las Vegas. Another guy that could have gone to a lot of different schools. Very good football player. And he is he's a dude who, at about, again, another 6'7", 325. He spent a good portion of this year kind of rebuilding his body, reworking, substantiating some of that girth. And he's going to be in that rotation. And then Big Rhino, my leader in the clubhouse, Rhino out of Bishop Alemany High School. Keep in mind, Bishop Alemany has been very, very good to Arizona. Ephesians Prizesock, Kevin Green. Now we got Big Rhino. Rhino is just huge. He's there's a reason he is called Rhino. But big dude. And not only that, can move pretty well, can get downhill, can flow to the ball. Lots to like about Rhino. I am a big fan of Rhino. And so those, again, you got a lot of different options. Then you got Joe Borjon, et cetera, et cetera. But Arizona has been stockpiling offensive linemen here for a while, and I think you're going to see it pay evidence this coming year. But again, certainly going to miss Jordan Morgan, but you got some dudes waiting in the wing. Then at wide receiver, we're going to start talking about some of the new possibilities. Jacob Cowling is gone. I expect Jacob Cowling to have a good NFL career. Not a great NFL career, but I expect him to have a good NFL career. He is replaceable again. As good as he is, he's not T-Mac, but he's also a very, very good football player. Not only that, he's a dude though that I think can be replaced. Kevin Green is a player that I think is going to make that jump. I love Kevin Green, another Bishop Alemany kid. I would not necessarily recruit anybody in that position because I think Kevin Green is ready to rock and roll. Not only is he ready to rock and roll, I think that he is essentially ready to be that guy. I think he can get 800 yards. And not only that, I think that he's probably going to be able to get some of those touchdowns. He can get open, and that is a huge part of it, is being able to get open. And when you're a wide receiver, Mike, it's good to have a wide receiver that can get open. But Green's got an innate ability to do that. He's got the similar physical dimensions. Then Malachi Riley, those dudes are all going to be in there. Also, Mikey Matthews, transfer out of Utah. I believe that Arizona can get Mikey Matthews if they really want him. He is good. I think that he can catch for probably caught for like 285 yards and a couple touchdowns last year at Utah. Go on the Utah message boards. They were bummed that he's leaving. Their loss is our gain. We will take him. So again, Mikey Matthews, certainly somebody to keep an eye on at wide receiver. Then you got a high 4-star kid out of California that Arizona could get. We're going to keep our fingers crossed on that, but we will find out, I think, eventually where Arizona stands with that. Then tight end, Tanner McLaughlin. Obviously, T-Mac is the T-Mac 2. As we might call him, is moving on. T-Mac 2 is, I think he's going to play in the NFL, and I think he's going to play in the NFL for quite a while. Big, strong, physical, can make catches, can do basically everything that you need. He is a very, very good football player. Not only is he a very good football player, he is, like I said, but I do believe that Arizona is going to be, I do believe that Arizona is going to get on, is going to hop on, and not only is Arizona going to try to get him, I believe that Kean Burnett this is going to be Kean Burnett's time to emerge. And not only is it going to be Kean Burnett's time to emerge, I think he's going to be ready for the moment. Again, ex-4-star kid out of Servite. I think you're going to see him make that step. Then Tyler Powell, another dude. Then you got the guy out of Oregon as well. 3 tight ends. Arizona's going to be just fine there. And then now let's move over to the defense, running back then. All right, the biggest news we have at running back. This is a tease, somebody that we affectionately call FAM. But first, FanDuel. All right, FanDuel.com/locked on. All right, here's the deal. I always tell people this. FanDuel Sportsbook. This is just the way to go about doing things. It just is. Not only is it the way to go about doing things, you want to be in there, and not only do you want to be in there, you will thank me later, because it's easy, it's simple. And not only is it easy and simple, it is a good point. It is a good thing to hop on there and check that one out. Again, you will thank me later. FanDuel.com/locked on college. I think that it is fair to say at this stage that it makes it much easier, much more enjoyable to to bet. When you've got that, check it out and you know your money's good. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, let's talk about the running back situation. Michael Wiley, my friends, Michael Wiley, a very, very good running back. Obviously, kind of a de facto starter, not a de facto starter, whatever you want to call it. But he's also a guy who is replaceable, as good as he is. And I expect Michael Wiley to play in the NFL. Jonah Coleman, I believe, is at Jonah Coleman, I believe, at the running back spot is going to be an all-conference and all-American type player. He's that good. And then there's another guy who's going to be coming back. I think some of us were a little bit worried. About Rayshon Speedy Luke, FAM, as we call him. By the way, I actually had a lady a while back who legitimately asked me if I'm really related to him. Well, when you look at Rayshon Speedy Luke and you look at Michael Aaron Luke, similar physical dimensions, perhaps, but probably not relatives. That's all I'm going to say there. Not to my knowledge. My mom is behind me. I don't know, to my knowledge, that she has ever heard of a Rayshon in the family, but maybe she has. I don't know. But either way, Speedy Luke is going to be a nice little addition to have back, and I think he's going to break out. He's going to be one of my breakout performers, along with Kevin Green Jr. I think these two guys are going to be real breakout performers. Then you're bringing in Jordan Washington. Not only that, I think with Jordan Washington, it is I think it's also fair to say that he was on. He kind of fits into that. He kind of fits in a little bit to that kind of that small scat back type role. They're all kind of redundant, but Speedy Luke is ready to make that jump. And not only is Speedy Luke ready to make that jump, I think that he's going to. I think that he's going to be able to kind of be. I think he can be an NFL type player. Not only an NFL player. I think he's going to break out in a big way, along with Kevin Green. Going to put both of those dudes out there. Okay, now let's move to the defense, though, because again, Jordan Washington coming in. I don't expect him to add another running back. Defense is where it gets interesting. Again, you got Taylor Upshaw. Taylor Upshaw moving on. And again, you got Deuce Davis, our guy, coming back. And not only Deuce Davis, you've also got Isaiah Ward. Both those guys, very, very good. Very good. But you're going to need another player there. Arizona's working on that. But Arizona's got a commitment from a big man in the middle that I would love to see, along with Big Bill Norton. Chubba May. What a great name, Chubba May, out of UC Davis. He is merely 6'3", 355 pounds. That is called a run stuffer. Would love to see him on that line. And not only him on that line, would also love to see both those dudes kind of play together, but you needed to get a little bit bigger because again, you're losing CO, you're losing a couple other guys, so that would be a nice little thing to have. Now with Chuba May be a very nice little addition. But the D line outside of the two pass rushers is pretty well set. It's pretty well stocked. You need to add another pass rusher, like I said. You got to get one more dude, but after that, I think you're pretty good. Then at the linebacker, here's where it gets interesting. Jacob Manu is an absolute monster. We know that not only do we know that Jacob Manu is an absolute monster, he's also a player that is very, very good. He can get to the quarter, or he can get to the quarterback. He can stuff the run. You name it, he can pretty much do it. But that was a hole next to him pretty much the entire. That was a hole next to him pretty much the entire time. In that, he's very, very good for sure. But you need somebody also next to him. Easton Mascarenas Arnold. Sounds like a Spanish playwright, but also a very, very good football player. Probably the second best linebacker in the conference next to Jacob Manu. And if he's not the second best linebacker in the conference, he might be the first. It's going to be difficult to get him. Now, again, you might remember his mother, Tony Mascarenas, U of A softball great. But Easton, I think, is probably going to look to get paid. He's taken a visit with his brother to Texas A&M, and as we all know, Arizona cannot compete with Texas A&M money. But let's just say Arizona can't get him. I think the logical hope is to try to get somebody like Leviticus Sua to step up and make that pounce, or that be able to make that next step. Again, he's got the bloodlines, he's got the ability. Ex 4-star kid out of modern day. Super good football player, a great prospect. Just need to see him try to make that next jump. I think he can make that next jump. But Arizona, I think, is right now, I think it's fair to say that the Wildcats, the linebacker is probably the one position on the defense where you have some real questions about, because as cool as the concept of Justin Flo is, and he's just not that good. I mean, hate saying it, just not that good. Daniel Haimuli tried hard, not that good. Need somebody next to him. You need to upgrade that position. Now, position that doesn't necessarily need upgrading, but we're going to talk about it because there is a possibility of adding somebody. We're going to talk about that next, but first, LinkedIn. All right, now, you all probably know somebody that got a job at LinkedIn, or was hired through a job at LinkedIn, and they were the better person for it. LinkedIn is here to help out you, because again, in this day and age, everybody knows somebody that probably got a job through LinkedIn, or you might have hired somebody through LinkedIn. Either way, LinkedIn, you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to check that one out. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Again, all kinds of good stuff there, but it is so prevalent that people go on my LinkedIn all the time, my inactive LinkedIn, and that is probably why I'm sitting here in my parents' living room, because I did not get on LinkedIn while everybody else is, and they're getting jobs. So again, check it out, LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your, I almost said your last listen today, your first listen of the day. Well, I guess it depends. As long as you listen to it, who cares? But now, Arizona got a nice commitment from Jordan Shaw. Now, Jordan Shaw's background is interesting. Kid out of Indiana originally. Very, very good, very good football player. Got a couple starts. It fits into that Jedd Fisch type, bigger, longer cornerback. And that's obviously a good thing. But he can also play. Also out of California, Southern California, knows a lot of these kids. I don't know. He's not going to start over Tacario Davis or Ephesians Prysock next year, but he's going to be able to be in the mix. Obviously, you can get back Traden Stukes for another year. You got 4 really good corners. Nobody's ever said, man, we have too many good cornerbacks. That's like it just doesn't happen. Can always have that. And I think with Ephesians and Tacario Davis, they both have NFL potential. And it wouldn't surprise me if they left early after next year. There's a lot of players that could leave early because Arizona's got a lot of good football players. So it's a good problem to have. Either way, Jedd Fisch gets it. He is seeing the mountain and not the trees. And then at the safety, obviously, Gunnar Maldonado turned out to be good. My bad, Gunnar. I thought he sucked. I was wrong, like usual. But Gunnar Maldonado is back, as is Dalton Johnson. Now, Dalton Johnson has really been kind of the a stalwart of this defense. My one question that I would love to ask Jedd Fisch is, why did Dalton Johnson not play more last year? But I don't know. Just kind of the way it is. Why didn't Dalton Johnson play more last year? And I don't really know what to say to that other than I don't know, maybe a missy valve. But you got those two. And then it's interesting because then you got DJ Warnell coming back. You got Genesis Smith that could make that move. But Akili Arnold would be a nice player to bring in. Arnold is obviously Easton Mascarenas. Arnold's, I believe, a stepbrother, and he's very, very good. He would step in there and he would be able to start or play a ton of minutes immediately. Would love to see him out there. But I don't, like I said, I don't know. That could be kind of a smoke, or that could be kind of a wishful thinking. But either way, it'd be nice to have both. It'd be nice to have those guys. But Arizona, though, Arizona's got 3 or 4 commitments already, and you're going to start seeing some more. We wanted to allude to those. Now, coming up tomorrow, Arizona football taking on Purdue, or Arizona football taking on Purdue. Oh, what a gross game that would be. Arizona basketball taking on Purdue on the vaunted Peacock app. So again, make sure you get Peacock if you haven't already. But we're going to talk a lot about that Arizona Purdue and a great a game, because again, it's 1 versus 4, and there's a lot of very scintillating matchups, starting with Big Zach Edey and what exactly Arizona can do to combat that. But as always, very, very much appreciate you making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke, and we will be back with you tomorrow.